Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Tina, and I help women break toxic patterns in relationships and life by rebuilding themselves from the inside out. Hey everyone, welcome back. This week has taught me something I think a lot of us need to hear. The hardest part of being in the middle is not the uncertainty itself. It's also that emotional weight of having to choose before you feel ready. Completely ready, because I know you already feel a spark, but to feel completely ready. And honestly, I love talking about it because it felt so real. It's so weird because I've been doing these podcasts for a while now. And a lot of time, I'm the one telling you what I did. Talking through the work, encouraging you to keep going. And I'm doing the work. But this time, I want to talk to you more. Because maybe you're the one in the middle of it right now. Maybe you're the one trying to make a decision and you don't even know what the right one is. Maybe you're feeling stuck between what feels good and what feels safe. Or maybe you're tired. Maybe you're exhausted. Maybe you're sitting in that middle ground where nothing feels fully clear, like you still have to choose something. And that's hard. That's the part people don't always talk enough about. Not just the big ones, not just the final answer, but that in between. The part where you're asking yourself, what do I do now? The part where you're trying to figure out what pain you're willing to sit with, what discomfort you can handle, and what decision is actually going to move you forward. Sometimes the hardest part is knowing what you want and deciding that you're willing to go through it to get there. I think that's where a lot of us are right now, trying to figure out if we tried, where do we want to be? But if you're tired, you need to rest. Or maybe you're tired because you've been avoiding the thing that you already know you need to do. It's like trying to figure out if we're stuck because we need more time or stuck because we're scared to choose. Or maybe we chose and then we don't trust our choice. Trying to figure out if the middle ground is a place to stay or just a place to pass through. I want this space to be honest about that. I know that there'll be times in your life when you're in that middle space. It is just a very uncomfortable space to be in. And I don't want to just talk at you. I want to talk with you about what it feels like to be in it, because that's the real part. We don't talk about that. If you're there right now, I want you to know you're not alone in it. You're not the only one trying to make sense of the mess, that messy middle. You're not the only one questioning yourself, asking yourself hard questions. And you're certainly not the only one tired of carrying it all. So I want to challenge you. Maybe the question isn't just, what did I do? Maybe the question is, what are you deciding right now? Ask yourself 3 things. What are you holding? Or what has a hold on you? What are you avoiding? And what are you ready to let go of? What do you need to do next, even when it's uncomfortable? I want to sit with that today because that's where the real work is. Not pretending everything is fine, although I know that can help. Fake it till you make it. But then that's also a false sense. Not to rush past the hardest part. You may need to pause. It's okay to pause. Not in waiting, though, until you feel completely ready, because honestly, you're never going to feel ready. Not completely. We'll always have that uncertainty, that little doubt in our mind. Maybe you have a voice that says, "Who are you to do this?" Or maybe you worry about other people. Well, what are they going to think? What do you think? What do you feel? So take that pause if you need to before you make the decision. It's that moment, deep in your soul. And if you know, you know. That's one of my new favorites. If you know, you know. It's that deep in your soul. You want something so bad. You know you're meant to be something. You're meant to be doing something. You still have some self-doubt. But you feel it. And then all of a sudden, sometimes it gets like all of a sudden you'll just be like, keep doing things. And then you realize, I can't do this. I can't keep doing these the same way. I need to try something different. I want a different result. It's in that quiet honesty of admitting this is hard, but I know I need to move. Maybe that's where you are too. Maybe you're not looking for a perfect answer. Hell, a perfect answer does not exist. Maybe you're just looking for enough certainty or clarity to take the next step. If that's the case, I want you to say this as clearly. You do not need to have your whole life figured out to make one good decision. Say that to yourself. Repeat after me. I do not need to have my whole life figured out to make this decision. We don't need to know every outcome before you start it. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be honest. Honest about what's working, honest about what isn't, honest about what you can carry, honest about what is costing you too much. Because sometimes we stay in things not because they're right, and we hear this all the time because they're familiar. Sometimes we delay decisions not because we don't know, but because we already know and we don't want to face what comes next. You know what? And I get that. I really do. That is exactly that. That's human. That's part of being in the middle of something that's meaningful. I feel that deep in my bones, deep in my soul. But staying stuck forever is not the same thing as being patient. And avoiding discomfort is not the same thing as protecting yourself. There's a difference. At some point, you have to ask yourself whether the thing you're holding on to is actually helping you or just keeping you from moving. Whether that fear is a warning or is it a barrier? Whether the pause is giving you space or is it just keeping you small? And you know what? I think those questions are worth sitting with. Not because they're easy, but because they matter. Because your life is happening right now. Your choices are shaping something right now. And even if you can't see the full picture yet, the next step still matters. So if you're in that place today, I want to encourage you to stop waiting for that perfect clarity. Start with honest clarity. What do you know for sure? What feels heavy? What feels true? What feels like it's asking to be released, let go of? What feels like it's asking to be chosen? You know what? And then ask yourself, what is one small step I can take today? Or maybe one big step you can take today? Not the whole plan, not the final answer, just the next step. Now, there's controversy on that. I do have my own opinion on that. But you know what I mean? Just action, more action. You can get stuck in that planning loop, planning, planning, planning. And before you know it, your life has passed you by and you never took that step. That's how momentum builds. That's how it starts. That's how you begin to trust yourself again. And maybe that's the real work I wanted to talk about today. Not being productive, not perfection, and definitely not having it all together. Who has it all together? Just the courage to stay honest in the middle of it, to admit when something is no longer working for you. And I'm getting chills right now. That courage to rest if you want. If what you want is really, and you need rest. Not only that, but the courage to choose discomfort if it leads to growth. You'll be okay. The courage to stop confusing fear with intuition. To keep going even when the path isn't fully clear. That's what I want this space to be about: real conversations, real decisions, real life. Because that's where we learn the most. That's where we grow. That's where we figure out who we are when things are uncertain. So if this week has felt heavy for you, I hope this reminds you that you don't have to solve everything today. Not everything needs an urgent solution. You just have to be willing to be honest with yourself. Be willing to ask those hard questions. You just have to be willing to take the next step, even if it's uncomfortable. And if you're still in the middle of it, I want you to know that's okay. That is, so many people are in that middle. You are allowed to be there. You're allowed to not have it all figured out. You are allowed to take your time, but don't confuse taking your time with staying stuck. Don't confuse fear with truth. Fear will lie to you. Oh my gosh. That's what I want to say. Fear is a liar. Don't confuse comfort with alignment. And don't forget that the decision that you make today does not have to define your whole life. It just has to move you forward. We're going to move the needle forward. So that's what I'm going to leave you with. What are you deciding right now? What are you holding? What are you avoiding? And what are you ready to let go of? And what do you need to do next, even if it is uncomfortable? And I'm in here. I'm in it too. I'm right there with you. I will not ask you or help you or guide you or try to mentor you or try to share my experience with you unless I've been through it or am going through it. Thank you. I'm Get It, Got It Girl, and I hope you have a great week.